Okay, if we could start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. The flag is around the corner there. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item 2 on the agenda is recognition of visitors. Nobody signed in to address the board tonight, so we're going to, at this time, we'll call to order the regular meeting of the Waterloo Local Board of Education. Roll call, please, Tom.
John?
Here.
Whittlesey? Wissateri?
Here.
Fletcher? Jones? Here.
Okay, brings us to item 4 on the agenda, the President's Report. Wanted to introduce some visitors we have here this evening. I guess it's late afternoon. We're used to the evening, but we're here today to talk about the new shared services agreement that we have going on in the field. So I thought first what I'd do is just recognize the field Board of Education members that are here from the field school system. Mr. Terry Kettering, the board president. Mrs. Laura May, Mr. Larry Stewart, and Superintendent Mr. Dave Epplinger. Thank you for coming. Thank you for having us. Really appreciate your efforts and helping us working together to make this happen. In addition to that, we have Mr. Dave Yost, Jim Armini, and Joey Jones from the State Auditor's Office. We also have Janet Esposito from the Portage County Auditor. Dave Yost is the auditor of the state, and thank you for coming tonight. And Dave Yost became the Ohio's 32nd auditor of the state on January 10th, 2011, with his mission of a skinnier, smarter government. The former Columbus Citizen Journal reporter, auditor Yost moved into public service in Delaware County, where he served as county auditor and prosecutor and gained a reputation for his fierce commitment to fiscal integrity. Upon taking office, Auditor Yost first partnered with the Ohio General Assembly to drive leaner government through the expansion of performance audits at both the state and local levels. His work with legislators broke down barriers in state law to make it easier for local governments to share services and voluntarily merge. Yost also conducted his first of its kind equipment utilization study in Lake County that will provide the template for all Ohio governments to share resources and cut costs. Auditor Yost is also building a track record for cracking down on fraud. He worked with legislators to institute a penalty on public officials who use tax dollars for political purposes. Yost also joined forces with law enforcement to put a charter school treasurer who embezzled hundreds of thousands of dollars behind bars. Most recently, Auditor Yost released a statewide audit of student attendance practices, which uncovered scrubbing of records in 9 school districts. Yost earned his undergraduate degree from the Ohio State University and law degree from Capital University. Auditor Yost and his wife Darlene make their home in Delaware County. They have 3 adult children and 2 grandchildren. Mr. Yost.
It's a tremendous honor to be here with you tonight on what's really a historic occasion. I would be remiss if I didn't call out one of the best county auditors in the state of Ohio, Janet Esposito. Now, I don't want to say Janet's been in office a long time. She was already a veteran county auditor when I was a baby county auditor a long time ago, and she taught me everything I needed to know, half of which I've forgotten, of course. But it's great to see you, Janet. The citizens of this great county are well served with her wealth of expertise. Look, I'm only going to say a couple words here, but the eyes of Ohio are on you tonight. This is a historic moment. 10 years ago, it would not have been even under discussion that 2 school districts come together to share the back office, fiscal operations, to have a common treasurer, and we're starting to see that change. The truth of the matter is that elected officials like to have their own people. They like to have extra dollars, and that's just the culture of the thing. And so it takes a special courage to be able to say, we're going to share resources, we're going to share power, we're going to take a new way of doing things. And that's what's happening here tonight, or happening here tonight. It already happened at Field, and I'm glad to see the board here. What a wonderful mark of cooperation. The board members are here at your board meeting. But beyond that, the act that you're taking tonight and the dollars that you're going to save, $200,000 over 5 years, that's equivalent of being able to put another teacher in the classroom. This is a big deal. These are the kinds of things we do that incrementally start to advance government, start to make it more efficient, acting on behalf of the folks that after all pay the taxes. So I'm really honored to be here tonight and to speak in favor of what you're doing. I'm proud of what you're doing, and trust me that as I travel this great state and talk with some of the other 614 school districts in the state, I'm going to be pointing right up here at Portage County and saying, here's how you do it. This is a way to do it right. Here's an example you can follow, and it works. Thank you for the opportunity to be here, and more than that, thank you for the courage and the vision to take this step tonight on behalf of the people of your districts.
Thank you, Mr. West. Like I said, it's a real honor for you to be here, and we're glad that you can make time in your schedule to get up here, and along with Mr. Armini and Mr. Jones. So we really appreciate it. We're also, like I mentioned previously, we're lucky to have who we believe is the best auditor, county auditor in the state. Janet here with us. Anything you'd like to say, Janet?
I am the best auditor out there. You know what? This is one of the best treasurers in Portage County. You know, Auditor YOST is the one that said, let's share services. And I don't know how many other counties and commissioners and people of the like that are just scared to death that their little Taj Mahal is going to be taken away from them. You keep going. I appreciate it. I have to tell you, though, when I first met David Yost back at Delaware County when he was first auditor, and I can't remember if that was 95, 98, somewhere in there, he wasn't gray. But he looks very distinguished that way. I really like a challenge, and I like it when Portage County is one of the first people or entities that step out and do a challenge. And that's exactly what's happened between the two school boards. God bless you. And you know what? You'll do fine. I know you will. And you know you've got a good leader here with your fiscal officer. He will work very hard for both communities. And it's a lot of work. You know, we see the budgets come in, and we see the certifications come in, and all the other things that go through a lot of time and energy for those individuals to do. Appreciate them, because you don't have many like that. But it's a pleasure being your county auditor. I have a good time. Anytime my door is open, I know the superintendent and Todd wanted me to explain some things about the homestead, but I don't know if this is the time or place. You know, but I'll be glad to come to one of your meetings or something.
Okay.
In fact, as soon as things are more firmed up on the renewals and levies and stuff, I'm going to send a thing out to all your fiscal officers. But right now there's controversy going on about the renewal levies and what's going to happen to them. Thank you.
Okay, that brings us to our business. We're going to have a motion to recommend the approval of a new 5-year contract as school treasurer for the Waterloo Local District for Todd Carpenter, effective August 1st, 2013 through July 31st, 2018. Second, please. Any comments or questions? We're just glad to have you back for another 5 years, Tom. Hopefully another many more after that. So, as everybody said here, you deserve every accolade you get. So, you've done a fabulous job for it.
And we wouldn't have tried this with any lesser treasurer, so we're glad you know you can do this. If you can't, you won't tell us anyway, so. He's gonna do it.
Roll call, please.
Gump,
Yes.
Whittlesey,
Yes.
Worcester,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
And we have a motion to approve the shared service agreement as indicated.
I'll make the motion.
Second, please.
Second.
Any comments or questions? This is just an agreement that between Field and Waterloo that we worked out, just kind of laying ground rules and that kind of thing. So we're very excited to continue to work with Field on this. Roll call, please, Tom.
Gump,
Yes.
Whittlesey,
Yes.
Worcester,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
That brings us to item 5, which is kind of I think is kind of funny. And all the excitement of today, Mr. Montgomery is our new superintendent. This is his first board meeting, so you've set the bar pretty high. So next month you're going to have to really see what you can do.
I wanted a low-key month, but I don't think this worked out. In all seriousness, I am very grateful that both Mr. Yost and Mrs. Esposito could come with us today. So thank you so much again. I have one thing to talk about, and it was alluded to in the May meeting, and that's waiver days. Andy brought before you that we were looking for 3 waiver days for next year. We are in the process of submitting our application for that, and I just want to give you a little history of what we're doing and why. In 2010, 2011, that's when the district level team worked on the Ohio Improvement Plan, and they developed goals on the needs of the district, and they're really revolving around the improvement of the OAA and OGT scores. And we looked at things of developing professional development for improving instructional practices and response intervention. So we moved in 2011 and 2012 to do 2 waiver days. And we focused on short cycle assessments, differentiation, and really looking at data. Another focus was also co-teaching, which is something we continue to work on, which I'll talk to in a little bit. Last year, in 2012-2013, we tried something a little different. We wanted to break it up because we thought that the 2 full days may be better used if we did 1 full day and then did 2 4-hour delays, so we could have little snippets of professional development throughout the year. Really what we found out was that it just wasn't enough concentrated time to get things done. So we ended up starting on a project and then just leaving it hanging. And that wasn't a great feeling. We didn't have the feeling of really accomplishing stuff. And we sought out to cover co-teaching, instructional practices, utilizing data. And what we ended up doing was focusing on Common Core and the Ohio Teacher Evaluation System. So our initiatives kind of changed based off of the requirements that were coming down from the state. This next school year, what we'd like to do is do 3 days because of the state-driven initiatives and because we want to get back to those initial goals of response to intervention, data analysis, and co-teaching. So we're trying to get all of those things that are being thrusted upon us covered and get to the best of our ability, plus the things that we think are really good for kids. I guess they're both really good for kids, but one's really our own creation. So we're hoping with those 3 days that will be, we'll be able to accomplish that. So with this resolution, we'll be submitting that to the state early next week.
Thank you.
And there'll be 3 full days, right?
3 full days.
Any other questions? Okay, that brings us to item 6 on the agenda, the treasurer's report, Tom.
Yeah, we just need to add a few items to the consent agenda tonight. Under superintendent's report, consent agenda item H and I, and under the treasurer's business, item D. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on those items?
You know, I think we have one more too, under item G, superintendent's report. We also need to change, recommended the Waterloo Local School District Board of Education engages daycare to provide legal services via the Portage County Educational Service Center Legal Services Consortium. That has been changed, just the name, title only. Do you have that?
It's Buckeye Legal Consortium right now. They just changed it this week, and I met with them on Wednesday, so I apologize for that change.
Yeah, it's the Buckeye Legal Consortium. So instead of
Same
Portage
people, just
County
different name.
Educational
Okay.
Service Center, it's going to be the Buckeye Legal Consortium agreement. That's what needs to be referenced in the resolution.
Okay. Thank you.
That's all.
Anything else? Anything from? Nice to see the workman's comp. It's going to save us $7,500 by getting in the group rating system. So that's 2 years in a row we've been able to get it, right? That's good.
Can we discuss the parking things
Well,
We can't. You want to save it for new business?
let's do new business.
now? Okay, that's fine.
Item 7 is the Maplewood Career Center update. Diane is our Maplewood representative.
I don't have anything to report tonight because we just had because of the change in meeting that we had here last month, our next meeting is next week.
Okay.
So our next meeting, I'll be able to report from next week, next month. So that's all.
Okay, great. Thank you. And I believe Mr. Jones is getting what he's going to talk about. Our Ken Fletcher is our legislative liaison, but I believe he's on vacation. He's actually out of town, out of the area, vacation or work, one of the two. But so he has passed off the legislative update information to Steve. So we'll let Steve provide that to you.
Yeah, Ken, when I talked to Ken, there was, in last Sunday's Beacon Journal, by the way, Megan Forney was on there too. You know, that was awesome. She got scholar athlete, some kind of statewide scholar athlete or something. With the new budget that we have, and I'm sure that Mr. Yost can tell us even more about it, there was a few key things that, it's going to affect the school district considerably. One of the things, and I think this is kind of neat, that they changed the minimum school year from 182 days to hours. And I know that, you know, back in, obviously, we're still concerned about money, but even before we had passed that last levy, I was reading that there's a lot of schools, like out west, out in California, and different people that have actually gone to like 4-day weeks, you know, to save on gas for fuel and different things like that. They just moved it up. I think they added an hour to the school day or something like that, but that was one of the changes. What was some of the other ones? There was, they kept a thing in there for the JVSs, that they are it's going to be local businessmen. It's not going to be necessarily, Diane can probably tell you a little bit more about it. Now there's all different board members from different school systems that make up the board, and I think, you know, that's going to change drastically. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe you could even speak more, Mr. Yost, I think that there's still a lot of questions that's going on with that budget and how it's going to affect us.
It's 4,700 and I think
Yeah.
47 pages or something like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of analysis that's still going on.
And so, and you're going to be busy trying to figure all this out. But, you know, once, I think, I agree with Janet, maybe in the next month or two, we can sit down and look at this. You know, this homestead thing could affect us, you know, pretty big time as well. So it's just, I worked for the state for 27 years. You never know what's going to happen in Columbus on any given day, so.
We mean that with all the logos.
Yes, with all the love and support. I had 27 years of PRS. I would love to get to that 30. You didn't hear me say a word. So anyway, Ken asked me to keep it short as well, and I think I'll do that. So.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate that. Item 9, new business. Thought we would start off with Mr. Yost has an award, I believe.
I do.
If you'd like to do that now, that would be great.
Perfect. You know, not only are you leading the way in terms of sharing services, you're also leading the way here in the quality of your fiscal office. And each year, my office recognizes those entities that have GAAP reports, generally accepted accounting principle reports, that meet our standards and are what we call clean audit. And what that means is not just that the books bounce, but that they follow the business rules for a local government, or in this case, a school system. And it's a great honor to be here and to recognize Treasurer Carpenter with the Ohio Auditor State Award for his work on the 2012 reporting period. Congratulations. Oh, did you want me to?
Yeah.
I was going to do that again.
Congratulations, good luck. I'd love to see both school districts get that next year.
It's worth noting, we talked about our treasurer for 17 years. About 17 years. I apologize. That's terrible. I should know that. But it's just so many numbers rattling through my head. He's been with us for 18 years and he's never had the slightest anything on his end of the year audit. So that's pretty, for those of you who are fiscal officers and things like that, you know that's pretty incredible to be able to maintain that kind of a record for 18 years. And we're very fortunate to have him, very proud to have him with us, and congratulations for your award. Okay.
Now I can bring it up.
Yes.
Okay. We've had discussions before about the parking fees, and I mean, I have a driver at school too, so this affects me also. But I just think that it's a privilege for the kids to be able to drive to school. I think they don't take it seriously enough, personally. We do have them do a test before they're allowed to drive. They have to do an online program that they have to test out of before they're allowed to drive to school. But I just think $15 is really not that much to charge to be able to park here. I think if it was a little bit higher, I think it'd be a little more obvious that they need to behave, and it is a privilege. So I just thought I wanted to propose that we raise from $15 to either $20 or $25 for the parking fees. And we do have to, we have to buy the cards to hang in them every year. So, I mean, there is a fee involved in them being here, so. And we have to have someone who goes out and inspects the parking lot to make sure they all have parking passes too. So, I mean, there are some things that we have to do if we're going to enforce it. So, it was just something I thought of, so I didn't know, I wanted to bring it to you guys and see what you thought.
Okay, I guess, any comments from Steve or?
I'd say, let's talk about it before we make any decisions on what we're going to do.
Is that something that you could, you guys can put together some numbers and include it in our updates the next couple of weeks, and we can have more information to talk about for the next board meeting? Is that?
Do we have time to vote on it? I mean, we can vote on it in August and we're still okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Is that okay?
We can take that out.
That way Ken will be here too.
That's fine.
So.
That's fine. I meant to bring it up before, and with everything going on, I just completely forgot. When I saw the agenda, I went, oh shoot, I was supposed to put a long thing up. So
We'll put it on for August, and before that meeting, we'll make sure that we get you the firm numbers on how much revenue we would generate in a fluctuation between 15 to 20 or 15 to 25.
Okay.
Are those the only scenarios you want us to run? 20 to 25?
that's what I would like to do.
Anybody else?
That's fine.
Yeah.
To me, that's fine. I mean, we are still having them take the test, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that's
Yeah, it's online.
Yeah, I remember that getting that put together was quite a task, I know, but it's a good thing to have just.
We have to take that out of there, or we'll vote on it and then we'll vote next month to increase it, or how do you want to do that?
We can always amend it, right? We can always amend it
Okay.
if that's the decision next month, so we can do that.
Okay.
Does anybody have do you have any strong opinion either way?
No, I do not.
And then, under new business, I had one item I wanted to bring up, but if Steve or Diane have, or Lisa, anybody have any other new business, I should say?
I have one other one, of course.
Okay.
The Athletic Boosters Fair booth. I'm going to remind everybody, I won't remind you again next month, but our shift is Tuesday from 2 to 7.
What's the date on that?
It's the 20th, first day of fair.
And Lisa, I always shift mine over to Friday.
Yes, I have you down for Friday evening.
Yes, and I got an email today from our new basketball coach looking for people, so I told him
Because I
to go
told
ahead
him
and
to
count
email
me into.
I did, I told him to email you and Ken.
Okay, so we're good with Friday.
Yes, that's fine, that's
Yep.
fine.
Perfect, thanks.
Hopefully you're still available to cook. And,
I'm there.
okay. Okay.
You
You could bring the whole.
Football coach is still Sunday morning?
Yeah.
I'll be there too.
Just as I always do, to remind everybody that our Booster Club are the only ones in the area that provide all of the uniforms for all of our athletes. So we're the only ones that do it, and they work really hard, and it's actually really fun. It really is. It's not hard work. They even have to cook, and it's not bad. But
Plus, I don't know if anything ever been brought up with the equipment we bought.
oh yeah, and also, did we do that last month?
Did I miss
The
that?
equipment that we bought, that the boosters bought for the weight room,
I don't recall.
I can't
And then I think we talked about the,
they just updated some of the equipment in the weight room, and the boosters paid for that too.
That's awesome, thank you.
So,
Yeah, we bought, a new elliptical and two bikes,
Wow,
and I put them in there, $1,600 and something.
yeah.
thank you very much.
So they're constantly doing whatever they need to do, so, and, they just had a golf outing and it went really well too, so, but just something, that's our shift, is Tuesday from 2 to 7, so you're Friday night, so.
I'll do my share, Lee, and I'll eat 2 big bites this year.
Yeah, if you're at the Randolph Fair, stop by the boosters and get a big bite, they're awesome.
Rawhide's Big Bite is the best sandwich there.
Yeah.
And I'm a little partial, but I
It
agree.
is.
I'm gonna be out of town that entire week,
Okay.
so I'll probably do
You
something.
don't count that.
When
It's
your
like
boss,
fair week, you don't
as
do anything.
we could ask those guys back there, when your boss says he's coming to town, you're with him, right, guys? So that's exactly.
Okay.
It wasn't, I didn't have a choice, so.
I know you like working it, so I know if you could, you.
Yes, I would, and I'll probably do something on the weekend, I'll just try to find
We
it.
can steal your daughter or someone like that.
Did you say please?
My son and daughter both, yeah, sure, they like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, the board meeting, I mean, I'm gonna be out of town the week of the 4th also. 5th is a Monday, and then the following Thursday, we have a board meeting.
Correct.
So we couldn't, do we want to try to move the next August board meeting, or do you guys just want me to go without? I apologize, but.
So you're just basically available from the 12th to the 16th. Is that correct?
No, I'll be in the week of the 8th, I'll be around. I'll
It's
be in.
actually scheduled for the 8th. Your board meeting was
Oh,
changed
I'm
in
sorry.
Maplewood
I
then?
got thrown off.
Is that what you're saying?
No, we're still on for the 15th. Wait, yeah, the 3rd.
I'm in the 5th, and then the week of the 12th.
So you're here for the board meeting, the 8th.
You're okay.
I'm not here the whole week, just the 5th, just the 5th.
Oh.
I'm gone the 6th through the 9th. I'm in the whole week of the 12th, and I'm in on the 19th, Monday.
So are you looking to change it?
And when is Maplewood?
The 15th.
So when are you looking to change it? Before or after?
Well, we could do it, if we had some other time, the week of the 12th, we could do it then, if you guys were If that fit anybody's schedule.
I'm okay.
Like the 13th, 12th or 13th or 14th.
I think I'm meeting on the 12th, at Phil.
I do my radio show on Monday.
Okay, so we won't do
So
it
Wednesday?
the 14th?
Or Diane, do you want a day in between yours? You want to Tuesday, Thursday?
She's off
It
on
doesn't,
Wednesdays, right?
it doesn't, no, 14th would be better, because I work late on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
So
So,
let's shoot for the
whatever.
14th.
If you guys are okay with that, that's fine, I appreciate it. If not, I mean, we can go with the, okay.
We can't operate without our president.
So I think you might be surprised how much more smoothly we're going to go. Okay, so we're going to move to August 14th.
At 7?
So, and then we'll confirm that with Ken. So I don't want to put anybody out because of my schedule, but jobs getting away with things. Yes, that's good. And then, any other, Lisa, you're good on new business?
I'm down.
Diane?
I'm free.
Are you gonna
I think we both have the same thing we want to bring up.
pay what?
Participation fees, yeah. I believe Todd ran some scenarios for participation.
Yeah, Matt and I,
You guys,
Andy last month before he left, we worked on some scenarios.
and you should have it in your packet.
It is in the packet, it's stapled together.
It's
Two
got-
sheets, single-sided.
When we originally increased the participation fees to what they currently are, is $300 per high school event, $150 for middle school event, high school club of $60, and the elementary school, middle school, $45. The goal there was to raise $80,000 to defray costs of the extracurricular programs. Last year, I believe, we actually raised more than that because we factored in a decrease in participation, but we didn't see the decrease in participation, so we actually brought in a little bit more than the 88,000. So we want to talk about possibly reducing the fees. Obviously, I personally feel that it would be probably not fiscally responsible to eliminate them, unfortunately, even though we'd love to do that. I just don't think that would be the fiscally responsible thing to do. But I'm open to the scenarios we have here. I personally think that scenario 3A, where we're basically cutting everything by a third, so the high school would go to $200, middle school $100, high school club $40, and elementary school, middle school $30. That would bring in the projected revenue. Now, is that based on this year's attendance or participation, the projected revenue?
No, that was based on,
On that.
Yeah.
So that would bring in a little over $75,000, and if our participation doesn't drop off, we may even hit the $8,000 savings that we hoped to when we initially started the program. I personally would be comfortable with something like that, but I'm more than willing, whatever, open discussion here, whatever you guys think is best.
I think that for the majority of the folks that I've talked to, and obviously I hang around with a lot of the sports parents and stuff like that, I think if we got it around $150 or $200, I think that, I think they'd all like to see nothing. But I also, to make sure that we are the good stewards that we are, maybe if we could look at this, we look at a lot of things every year, and maybe this should be something that we look at maybe to adjust every year. Maybe we leave it alone, but at least, bring it up to where we talk about it and look and see where we're at. I think most of the folks understand that, the money is just, sometimes it's here and sometimes it's not. And, we want to try to give back where we can, when we can. We've hired some extra teachers, we've done a lot of different things with what we had, and only because we've got the greatest auditor around, or greatest treasurer around. But, if we could get it down a little bit, I think that it would certainly help the kids. I think that we would see a little bit more participation.
I agree, and also, we talked about the family cap changing to $750 from
Yeah.
$1,000, which I think that'll help a lot of the
That would
families.
help there too.
I think that'll actually be a bigger help than the other. Yeah, I think if we go to 200, go by third, I think you're.
Are we in agreement that's what we want to do?
3A looks like a winner for right now anyway.
Yeah, a lot of comments about the cap as well, so,
Okay.
yeah.
So the cap is now, will be 750, which is roughly a third. So, okay.
I think we have to be prudent with all aspects, trying to, we know we can't make everybody happy, but I think we have to be prudent with all aspects of the budget, and we also don't know what's coming down the pike at any given moment. So to drop it too much at this point, you know, we just don't know. I mean, yes, we're all excited because we passed a levy, but that doesn't mean we don't have to pass one in another however many years.
And when we passed that levy, we said, we were very, very open and honest with the entire community that said,
Everything
at
is-
the end of that 5-year period, we expect to have 394,000 ballpark left. And we want to make sure that we
Still have.
hold true to that word. And that at the end of the 5-year period, based on things that we can control, obviously we can't control changes in funding and those kind of things, but the things that we can control, we want to make sure that we stay as close to that number as possible. So I think that, and based on these numbers, I think we still get paid to do that, so.
Right, and just with Todd doing shared services, that freed up a little bit, it'll help us, and everything we're doing, we're still working towards saving money. We've never said spend money
24 years.
in all the years I've been on,
Yeah,
so.
everybody.
Well, do we need to do a resolution to look at this every year
No.
before we vote on this, or is it just something we
I think we
bring it
just need
up?
to bring it up.
Okay.
Yeah. Do we need a resolution to change it?
If you want to bring it to the floor, we can do a resolution, amend the agenda, and then bring it to include recommendations to approve pay to participate.
So we need 2 separate resolutions, correct?
Be best.
Okay. Do we have a motion to amend the agenda?
Yes, so moved.
Second, please.
Second,
Roll call, please, Tom.
Gum,
yes.
Whittlesey,
Yeah,
Busateri,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Okay. May we have a motion to add, we have a motion to revise the participation fees in accordance with scenario 3A. As listed there, high school fees would be, high school events would be $200 per event, middle school $100, high school club $40, elementary school, middle school club $30, with a family cap of $750. A second, please.
Second.
Comments, questions? Roll call, please, Tom.
Gum,
Yes.
Whittlesey,
yes.
Busateri,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. That was, any other new business? Okay. All right. Consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Diane, seconded. Any comments or questions? I know that, I just want to thank everybody for putting this together. We have had 2 of the most crazy months here, well, a month and a half of just activity. And it's kept us all hopping. I know with all the interviewing that was done and those things with the new staff we've added, and just getting through the change in superintendents and then the shared services thing kind of popped up, re-popped up or reappeared, I guess is a better way of saying it, pretty quickly, and we acted on it, had to act on that very quickly. And so it's been a very, and plus keeping the business running like we're voting on here, so we appreciate that effort from everybody. Roll call, please, Tom.
Gum,
Yes.
Whittlesey,
Yes.
Busateri,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Okay, then, I believe the last item we have to do is recess into executive session. Can I have a motion to recess into executive session to discuss employment and preparing for conducting, reviewing negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees concerning the compensation and other terms and conditions of employment. Second, please. Roll call, please.
Gum,
Yes.
Whittlesey,
Yes.
Busateri,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
We do not anticipate taking any action. Yeah, we do not anticipate taking any action upon reconvening.